All right, how is everybody? Going over my lesson plan here. Um, so we'll start with the essential understanding. From the lesson plan, the students will understand the importance of a good relationship with customers. So this we will be covering, as the next part says, the standards. Describe the impact of industry, environment, and culture on the nature and scope of selling and sales activities, e.g., customer service and relationship building. So I'm really going to focus on the customer service and relationship building of um, of the standard. The reading standard that comes along with this is cite strong and thorough textual evidence and support analysis of what the text says explicitly, as well as inferences drawn from the text, including determining where the text leaves matters uncertain. The outcomes I have for these, giving the assigned reading, students will be able to cite evidence from the text to develop a better relationship with the customers 3 out of 4 times. In the content areas, during this assignment, students will be able to form a better relationship with customers 3 out of 4 times. Some of the academic language I'll be using is respect, a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities and qualities or achievements. Customer, a person or organization that buys goods or services from a store or business. Loyalty, the quality of being loyal. And word of mouth, spoken language, informal or unofficial disclosure. The language demand of students. Students will need to understand the language for an upcoming project they will be given. They will have to be able to use the language fluently in this class. I will be using technology. I'll be using it to help students better understand customer relationships as I give a presentation on the chapter and the reading that they had previous to class. The pre-assessment. To start class, we'll talk about what good customer service looks like. I'll allow for students to give examples and how they handled it and how they witnessed the situation being handled. Skill or goal, I'll be measuring their knowledge of what customer service looks like through their conversations. The conversations we will engage in will give me feedback on how students understand customer service and how they view customer service. And then the data will be used by how students interact in conversations to see their prior knowledge needs strengthened or not. So the formative assessment I have is I'll be doing a mock process with the students. I'll give them a skit they will follow at first, and then I'll have them write a skit to act out on their own. The learning outcomes of this will be writing their own skit, allowing for measuring to take place of skills and goals for the lesson. I'm using this assessment for the students to have some fun and for a different type of assessment. Feedback, I'll use the skits they create as feedback to see if they understand what they wrote previous. And if the plan does not go well, I'll mix it up and adjust the skits and maybe not do the skits in the future. Summative assessment. At the end of the unit, there'll be a chapter test, which will measure their customer service along with the rest of the chapter. I'll measure students' abilities supporting a better relationship with their customers. I'm using this assessment to wrap up a unit in customer service. The unit test will be given at the end of the week or the end of the unit, whichever would come first. Feedback I will use will be the test scores from the unit as a whole. If the feedback is good, then I'll know what I did was effective and was positive for the students. If it is negative, then I will use the data to see if the lectures and the skits are effective in better understanding customer service. The assessment of academic language and language demands. I'll assess the students' use of terms by the skits they put together. The goals of that will be to use the language in the skit in the appropriate manner. And the feedback, if the given language is not used well, I will look to rethink how I taught the lesson, maybe doing some more prior knowledge than just this class period. If students do not use the language as given, I'll prepare skits for the future classes for better understanding. So pre-reading strategy and activity. I'll have the students pre-read the chapter and get familiar with vocabulary words before class. That way they're ready to create a skit with their classmates. To start off class, the strategy and activity, the first activity, I will have a skit that I prepare for the class. I'll have 3 students who act out the skit I prepare for them. The beginning skit is to give them an idea how to complete their skit and an introduction into the chapter. For the main lesson, there will be a small lecture on customer service. It will cover the do's and don'ts of customer service, handling issues, and the vocabulary in the chapter. The main lesson will give students the notes they need for the upcoming test and the team activity. The closure. I'll have students group in 3 or 4 per group. The students will put together a skit to cover the material on the PowerPoint. The skit will have the touch of the student and needs to be school appropriate and covers the vocabulary necessary. This will give the students the ability to learn their way and have a little fun in class while learning the material. Plan for ELL. If there is more than one ELL in the class, I'll have them group up together and they can do it in their former language if they match up. If there is not, then they will be able to translate the lesson or get them notes from their intervention specialist. Underperforming students. All students will be involved in this lesson. The underperforming students will be put with the gifted students so they can balance each other out and help understand the lesson with the skit. The gifted students will be helping the underperforming students. This lesson will not be altered for gifted students. All will be involved in this. Those with IEPs will have guided notes to help them and will have their notes given to their intervention specialist as well. I will be using a PowerPoint, paper, smartboard, the skit, and a computer. Students will be using their laptops or Chromebooks, guided notes, paper, and pen. Physical accommodation safety issues. In the classroom, students will be accommodated as necessary. If they need extra assistance, they will be granted that as necessary. I will do everything in my means to accommodate to my students. Management issues. The translation of the activities from one to the next. There should be a smooth transition flowing classroom with no issues. Seating grouping. The students will be in their assigned seats until they are partnered up with classmates in the in-class activity. One of the references I have is a business.gov talking about people and the customers. This would be something I'll give to them, kind of an extra reading on top of the material that the class gives the students. College and career readiness. This lesson will help students deal with rude customers in the workplace and understand how to build a better relationship with their customers. I think this is a very good lesson for that. I think that all students can learn how to handle customers because not all students will, or all students will at some point run into customers and rude ones at that. And if they can build great relationships and handle and diffuse situations, then those will be great employees. And that's what we're aiming towards.